Hello, I welcome you to a discussion on the topic Exploring the Nexus of Religion, Spirituality and Healing. I have divided my lectures into several parts, which are as follows. I will be speaking on the meaning of religion, spirituality and healing in the first section of my lecture. In the second section, I will try to shed light on how religious involvement provides mental healing to the individuals. My third section will be on the role of spiritual healing in physical healing, that is, how spiritual healing replenishes people with physical healing. The fourth section of my lecture will be centering around healing mechanisms through religious and spiritual involvement, where my main focus of interest will be on the different healing mechanisms such as meditation, chanting, drumming, music, dance, yoga, tai chi, reading sacred text, prayer, community service and welfare, and the concept forgiving. I will deliberate upon spirituality and religious involvement among clinicians in the fifth section of my lecture. The sixth section of my lecture will be centering on the relationship of spirituality and trauma healing. The seventh section of my lecture will be focusing on the notion of religion, spirituality and healing among the elderly. Moving on to the eighth section of my lecture, I will try to establish the positive link between religion and spirituality leading to healing. In the final section, I will try to focus on the nexus among religion, spirituality and healing across different religions. In this section, an attempt has been made to explore the meaning of religion, spirituality and healing. Religion is a very common term which is used to designate all concepts concerning the belief in gods and goddesses as well as other spiritual beings or transcendental ultimate concerns. It is the human being's relation to that which they regard as holy, sacred, spiritual or divine. In the words of Mark Twain, religion consists in a set of things which the average man thinks, believes and wishes he was certain of. Therefore, religion is the collective belief of the people. Religion is universal in nature. If we glance through the world map, then we can identify how religion is present all around the world. Spirituality, on the other hand, is the process of personal transformation in accordance with religious ideals. It may refer to almost any kind of meaningful activity or blissful experience of mankind. Benner has defined spiritual as the transpersonal awareness arising spontaneously or through meditative and other practices beyond ordinary explanations, and to which are attributed an inspiring and guiding meaningfulness, often attributed to a deity. It is the subjective experience of human beings on the earth. It still denotes a process of transformation, but in a context separate from organized religious institutions, termed spiritual but not religious. The distinction between the spiritual and religious became more common in the popular mind during the late 20th century with the rise of secularism and the advent of New Age movement. Spirituality provides people with spiritual experience, which thereby include being connected to a larger reality, yielding a more comprehensive self, joining with other individuals or the human community, with nature or the cosmos, or with the divine realm. Coming down to the concept of healing, we can see that it is the process of the restoration of health from an unbalanced, diseased, or damaged organism. Healing through the divine force is claimed to be achieved by the prayer of an individual, divine intervention, or the ministrations of an individual healer can cure illness. Therefore, religion, spirituality, as well as healing are widely noted concepts in the present social structure, which are totally distinct from each other on the basis of their meanings. Let us now enlighten ourselves on how the religious involvement leads to mental healing among the people. Various studies have explored the impact of religious indicators on psychiatric and mental health outcomes in population, community, and hospital samples. Rates of mood disorders such as depression and anxiety, dimensions of psychological well-being such as life satisfaction and happiness, patterns of self-destructive behavior including the addictions, and mental health care utilization. The weight of evidence on average and across studies suggest that religion, however assessed, is a generally protective factor against mental illness. For many clinicians and scientists of the day, religion was highly relevant, for better or worse, as an etiologic, therapeutic, or palliative agent in psychotherapy. Whether thought to be a malign or salutary influence on mental and emotional well-being, the sphere of religiousness, faith, sacred beliefs, and experiences had been a source of exploration for decades. Commitment to a religious belief system may benefit mental health by promoting healthy behaviors conducive to wellness. Example, avoidance of tobacco, alcohol, drugs, antisocial behavior. Fellowship with like-minded congregants embeds one in formal or informal social networks that facilitate receipt of tangible and emotional support. Private or group prayer or worship may produce salutary emotions like gratitude, humility, grace, forgiveness, love, with preventive or therapeutic benefit. Religious beliefs, which include belief about God, human existence, the purpose of life, life after death, free will, the nature of evil, human obligations, may be consonant with beliefs that foster preventive healthcare practices. Faith or religious certainty may engender positive expectations that instill hope and optimism capable of preventing or ameliorating distress. The present section discusses on how the spiritual healing replenishes people with physical healing. Holistic care can redress the physical body with touch, massage, bioenergy interventions, medications, hormones, surgery, and genetic manipulations. Holistic care can address the biological energy, body with spiritual healing, acupuncture and its derivatives, homeopathic medications, flower essences, craniosacral therapy or cranial osteopathy, and other bioenergy interventions. We can see from the following diagram that how spiritual healing is noted by the physicians. The doctors in the medical field too respect his patient's belief in spiritualism. Physical problems often lead us to spiritual awareness through prayer and healing. Particularly around the end of our life, we are moved to seek spiritual explanations for our physical existence. Physical healing is promoted by the religions due to the statement that body is our home during the visit of our soul on earth. When we treat it well, it will usually serve us well. We can refer to the study of Koenig, from where it can be deciphered that religious beliefs and actions have been related with better resistant function, lower death rates from cancer, minimum heart disease or better cardiac results, minor blood pressure, less amount of cholesterol, and improved health behaviors. Therefore, religion guides one to refrain from being involved in any kind of self-destructive activities. The present section will be centering on different healing mechanisms practiced through religious and spiritual involvement. We can now predict that religion in various ways provides healing to its followers. The different healing mechanisms are, firstly, meditation. Various studies have demonstrated that meditation lowers high blood pressure, lowers the level of blood lactate, reducing anxiety attacks, decreases any tension-related pain such as headaches, ulcers, insomnia, muscle and joint problems, increases serotonin production that improves mood, improves the immune system. By meditating regularly, we develop sustained concentration. This increase in concentration, coupled with reduced stress and tension, renewed energy, and improved relationship, help us achieve success in our worldly activities. We become more efficient and productive and are better equipped to deal with the challenges that we face in our life. Another healing mechanism is chanting, drumming, music and dance. Specific chants are associated with specific organs in our body. Chanting is able to cure the malfunction of an organ if the cause is spiritual in nature. The particular frequencies generated as a result of chanting help improve the abnormal, unnatural, and disproportionate frequencies resulting from the diseased organ. Sorrow can be avoided by chanting, thereby providing one with mental healing. For example, chanting of Om among the Hindus is believed to increase concentration, removes toxin from the bodies of the human beings, provides improved healing, and helps to have a focus on whatever a person tries to do. There are different forms of religious dances in different religions. For example, the Sufi dances, that is circle dances, which acts as one of the healing mechanisms among the religious followers. While dancing in the religious tunes, people claim to build a nexus with themselves and the divine world. Thirdly, yoga and tai chi too provides healing among its followers. The practice of yoga and meditation proved to be a powerful combination to improve the quality of life. When the wobbling body becomes steady and the disturbed mind becomes calm, meditation can provide a deep sense of relaxation. Spirituality gives inner strength to manage difficult situations in our everyday life. Being established in the self, your inner peace spreads outward and makes you a more responsible human being, full of caring, sharing, and love. Yoga improves circulation of blood, lowers cholesterol, eases the symptoms of asthma, aids the recovery of stroke victims, and so on. Tai Chi in Christianity and Taoism also provides healing among its followers. In the same way, reading sacred text provides people with healing. Fourthly, reading the holy text that are Bhagavad Gita in Hinduism, Quran in Islam, Tripitak in Buddhism, Bible in Christianity, Torah in Judaism, provides people with the strength to forget their sufferings and thereby give them the power to heal themselves. Prayer is also another way of reaching the divine power. While praying, we plead before God. It is therefore the place where pride is abandoned and we humbly admit our need, human frailty, as well as our dependence upon God. It therefore helps to reduce the ego faster. Religion promotes the act of forgiving the others of the sin they have committed towards the others. In the Christian religion, their religious institution, that is church, helps to promote the act of forgiveness through the establishment of their confession room. People who commits any sin and feels guilty for their act from within goes to the confession room and admits their crime and asks for forgiveness from Jesus Christ. Thus, one can be free from any internal conflict, thereby healing him or her from within. Thus, numerous religious followers maintain the fact that religion and its healing mechanism provide healing much faster than biomedicines. In this section, I will speak upon spirituality and religious involvement among the physicians. Surveys suggest that most patients have a spiritual life and regard their spiritual health and physical health as equally important. Furthermore, people may have greater spiritual needs during illness. When people consult physicians to determine the cause and treatment of an illness, they may also seek answers to existential questions that medical science cannot answer. For example, why is this illness happening to me? Many patients rely on a religious or spiritual framework and call on religious or spiritual care providers to help answer these questions. In the present century, physicians' interest in patients' spiritual life has increased because of a number of growing studies that have shown an association between increased religious involvement and spirituality and better health outcomes. Studies have found that religious involvement is associated with lower blood pressure and less hypertension. Studies have found that religious involvement is associated with less cardiovascular disease. religious persons are less likely to use alcohol and other drugs. Illnesses may interrupt routines, drain finances, separate families, create situations of dependency, and lead to existential and spiritual concerns. Not only do many people rely on their religious beliefs and spirituality to cope with illness, but these people may also cope with illness more effectively than persons without such beliefs. Religious and spiritual coping are common among persons with asthma, HIV disease, chronic pain, coronary artery disease, end-stage renal disease, multiple sclerosis, burns, hip fracture, and ultimately the deadly killer, that is cancer. In the modern day clinics, many other sources of spiritual care, especially chaplains, are available to clinicians to address the spiritual needs of patients. Therefore, taking into consideration the spiritual belief of the patient by the clinicians can foster improved health outcomes among the patients. The present section of my lecture will be centering on the relationship between spirituality and trauma healing. Religion do play a significant role in helping people to cope with stress or to protect against stress. For many, if not most, when disaster or trauma strikes, it is religion, ritual, and faith or spirituality that are embraced as the central means of coping. For example, following Hurricane Katrina, 92% of those who survived and who were evacuated to shelters in Houston said that their faith played an important role in helping them get through. Another example shows that a national survey conducted by Schuster found that after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, 90% of Americans reported that they turned to prayer, religions, or some form of spiritual activity with loved ones in an effort to cope. Many other examples could be offered of how the victims who have experienced natural and man-made traumatic events have used their religious beliefs, faith, and spiritual means of coping. Religious coping has been found to have a significant association with a variety of adjustment indicators, including lower levels of depression and alcohol consumptions, fewer somatic complaints, fewer interpersonal problems, lower mortality, greater level of life satisfaction, more use of social supports, and overall improved coping ability. A number of observers have discussed the relationship between emotional regulation and religion. Religious practices such as prayer, which is an exercise in religious reframing, meditation and activities that can reduce arousal, acceptance and forgiveness activities that control negative emotions like anger, guilt, and shame, as well as nurture empathy, have each been found to help individuals healing their trauma. In this section, I will speak on how religion and spirituality acts as a coping mechanism to heal among the aged. Here, particularly the elderly section will be focused, as various studies shows that across all age groups, the elderly group has been benefited the most by practicing religion. Understanding the relationship as well as the differences between spirituality and religion may help explain and support the interest of older adults in reaching beyond themselves, doing and caring for others, and disinterest in the material. Research shows that religion and associated activities are common among older adults. There is a positive relationship between religion and physical health. Older adults may turn to spirituality and religion when they meet difficult, life-changing events and experience personal losses. Their reaction to these events and losses may cause distress, temporary or chronic psychological conditions. Mental health interventions may include or add to one's faith or practice of spirituality in times of difficulty. Older persons report that religion helps them cope or adapt with losses or difficulties. Therefore, we can point out the following benefits of religion and spirituality on the elderly. Firstly, it promotes the acceptance of one's past and leads to the enjoyment and contentment of the present and the future that beholds them. Secondly, it meets the basic human needs, thereby promoting psychological well-being of the elderly. Thirdly, it helps to cope during events which are filled with stress and anxiety. It makes him to understand the meaning of life and prepares him for his death. Fourthly, old age is such a phase of one's life where an individual encounters multiple losses, thereby making him or her grief-stricken. It is spirituality which, at that point of time, promotes healing to the individuals. Thus, it can be predicted that religion as well as spiritual beliefs often acts as a coping mechanism in the lives of the elderly. In the present section, I attempt to establish a positive connection between religion and spirituality, which ultimately leads to healing. Like other factors that promote health, for example, exercise, religious involvement and spirituality is more likely to enhance resistance to diseases through the interaction of multiple beneficial mediators. It promotes a positive relationship among the individuals, thereby promoting healing. As noted previously, religiously involved persons are more likely to embrace health-promoting behaviors such as eating a balanced diet, eschewing risky behaviors such as smoking, seeking preventive services, and being compliant with treatments. Religiously involved persons often have strong social support systems, the physical and mental health benefits of which are well known. Religious and spiritual practices, for example meditation, prayer, and worship, engender positive emotions such as hope, love, contentment, forgiveness, and restrict negative emotions such as hostility. These positive emotions help the people to be free of mind and provide them with the energy and zeal to face any negativity in life. This response has psychological effects, for example, less anxiety, and physiological effects, for example, decreased blood pressure, heart rate, and oxygen consumption, that may lead to an improved health. We can note the positive link of religion and spirituality leading to healing of an individual with an example. When a person suffers from smallpox, then it is considered to be the boon of goddess Shitala. The healing process associated for the treatment of this disease is keeping the person secluded, surrounding the sufferer with neem leaves and chanting goddess Shitala's prayers so that one can heal faster. Therefore, each religion does provide healing mechanisms for its followers, thereby establishing a positive link between healing and religion as well as spirituality. In this final section, I will try to focus on the nexus among religion, spirituality, and healing across different religions. According to Cmsr, historically, there was a close connection between spirituality, religion, and healing. Sickness has been described as a disturbance in relationships, with early people believing in a relationship between humans and the cosmos. A disturbance in this relationship required a healing role fulfilled by a shaman, thus demonstrating that healing was a religious act. Cmsr goes on to describe how scientific healing also restores relationship, but on a physical, intrapersonal level between body parts, organs, physiological functions, and biochemical processes within a mind-body context. In a number of cultures, healing is viewed as restoring balance. Balance within the individual's body, balance between the individual and his or her community, or balance of the community with the universe at large. The individual's illness may be perceived as a sign of community imbalance or sin or misdeeds. Therefore, one's illness is often associated by the society in terms of one's religion. We can opine that the religious scriptures do provide a detailed connection between religion and healing of an individual. Delving deep into the religions, we can see that a Hindu must cater to the well-being of his body as God resides within him. In Islam, Muslims consider that there is only one Almighty God, named Allah, who possesses the superior power. It is after death that a person is rewarded for his deeds as being a moral creature on this earth. It can be inferred that spirituality promotes the concept of giving and forgiving, which is inversely related to one's physical and mental well-being. In Christianity, faith in Jesus Christ himself, not just in his teachings, is how the Christian experiences joy and a meaningful life. Thus, sense of gratification and contentment is what one finds while delving with one's religion. These emotions are also portrayed in other religions such as Sikhism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and many more. Therefore, it can be concluded by saying that religion, spirituality, and healing are strongly connected with each other. If one puts their utmost faith and belief towards the religious doctrines and the healing mechanisms, then one can incur health benefits.